Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. We've got a packed show today. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed Live from Los Angeles. I'm Holly Saunders. Skip, Shannon, and Joy are off, so I am joined by a motley crew once again. Chris Broussard, Greg Jennings, and Rob Parker. Guys, what is up?
What's happening?
I'm excited about today. Just to be on set with you guys is awesome.
Oh, stop.
I'm buttering you up.
Oh,
you
stop.
were hard on me yesterday.
No. I was trying to, educate. I was just trying to work with you.
The carpetbagger and the Christopher Columbus.
We done with all
lost
these
us.
metaphors.
Do you have any of your professor lines?
No,
today?
I'm good.
Oh, we
Okay,
good.
I'm gonna leave
focus.
my professor hat off.
Okay.
We're on television. We're talking sports. We're debating.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it then.
All right, okay. All right, I guess you guys want to get into it. You don't want to mess around here. Let's get it started with the Warriors. Don't look now, but Golden State doesn't have the best record in the NBA anymore after losing 123-117 to the Blazers last night to fall a half game behind the Rockets in the West. Damian Lillard led Portland with 44 points. Kevin Durant had a season-high 50 points, but with under 10 seconds left and the Warriors down by 4, KD hit a three-pointer, but the ref said he was out of bounds. So the Warriors have now lost 4 out of their last 8 games. Take a listen to Steve Kerr and Durant after the loss.
We have to have more of a sense of urgency when we out there playing. Team's not going to, they up to play us. Everybody wants to beat us. Everybody's excited to play against us. So, some guys are going to have great nights against us and make shots. And, they knocked down about 5 threes in that first quarter that got them going. So, we just got to be prepared. I think it's going to be good to get away for a week and be ready to turn it up a bit when we come back.
It's got to matter. The game's got to matter from the beginning. And we were careless at both ends. Bad shot selection, careless with the ball, careless defensively, not getting up on shooters. And I give them credit. I mean, Portland came out. They were hot right from the start. But, we have to be ready to play right from the beginning, and we just weren't.
So Steve actually coached his team last night. We'll get to that in just a minute. But first, Chris, are the Warriors still a lock to win it all?
Not a lock. Before the season, I felt 100% that the Warriors were going to win the championship. Now I'm going to say I'm down to about 70 to 75%, which is significant considering how great they are, how talented they are. And the decline, while it has something to do with themselves, that's only a small part of it. I'll get to it. A lot of it has to do with how well Houston is playing. I've said, and I still believe, that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are the best backcourt in NBA history. They've been together 7 years. They've won 2 championships. But Chris Paul and James Harden are probably better. I wouldn't say they're the best in history because they just got together. They haven't been together long. But when you match the two up, Houston's backcourt is probably better. We have not seen anything like this since maybe Walt Frazier and Earl the Pearl Monroe. And it's showing. Offensively, Houston is the top-ranked offense of all time. Right now, that's the pace they're playing at. You look at the other top 5 teams of all time. Number 2, the Showtime Lakers, Magic Johnson, 1987, won a title. Number 3, Golden State, last year obviously had a stacked team, won a title. Number 4, Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, 1992, won a title. Number 5, Boston with Larry Bird, 1988, didn't win a title, but a tremendous team. And Houston's playing defense. Then the Cavaliers, we talked about them the last few days, the way they've improved and the way they look like they should continue to get better, the pieces they've added, the holes that they've stopped up. I think they could eventually improve to the point where they can challenge Golden State. Now, to Golden State, they have some major issues, and you heard it in those comments. Kevin Garnett, a lack of urgency. Steve Kerr, careless.
Kevin Durant.
Not ready to, Kevin Durant. Yeah. Steve Kerr, not ready to play, careless. Those are signs of frustration and just being exasperated and a bit mentally burnt out because it is hard. I don't care how much talent you have to get to 4 straight finals. Michael Jordan retired after 3 both times. And the first time he was burnt out. And so he retired. There have only been 4 teams in history to get to 4 straight finals. Bill Russell Celtics, Bird Celtics, Magic Lakers, LeBron's Miami Heat team. But most of those after that, I mean, LeBron in Miami, they parted ways. You know, it's tough to do. There's a reason the Spurs, with one of the greatest players ever in Tim Duncan, one of the greatest coaches ever in Greg Popovich, have never even repeated as champions. And so that is what you see. The frustration, the technical fouls. Draymond Green has been ejected 3 times this year. He had been ejected 3 times in his entire career up to this point. Kevin Durant's been ejected 4 times. He had only been ejected once in his entire career. Even Steve Kerr's got 5 technical fouls. So those are some of the challenges that the Warriors are facing. I'm not saying it will break them, but it certainly brings it down as far as whether or not they're a lock to win the championship.
The Golden State Warriors were a lock before the season started and are still a lock, barring some major injuries.
You didn't hear a word I said.
I heard what you said. It just went one ear and out the other because you know how this league operates and how it works. Regular season, you can't always look at it. There's going to be lulls. Good teams are going to have bad stretches. They're going to be unfocused. They're going to make mistakes, do stuff. I get it. I agree with you trying to win that often and go 4 years, but that doesn't mean at the end of the day what this league is about. This league is about the postseason, which you know is a different season, and it's also about stars and guys who have done it and been there. And my money is on those guys. You look at the Golden State Warriors, they have 3 of the 10 best players in the league. In this league, those teams are the teams that normally win. The last team that you could really go back and say won without a superstar, 2004 Pistons. That doesn't happen. It's always about guys when your team has those kind of players. So I like where the Warriors are. They're going to get refocused. They will get back. They just got to be ready to go. And even when you have a lull through all the winning that they have done, doesn't mean you're not going to win. I could just go back. The 2000 Yankees, who had wound up winning 3 World Series in a row.
Is that basketball?
No, but I'm just telling you, they went 3-15, including losing their last 7. People said,
That's
"Oh no, it's
man.
all over."
Anything happens in baseball.
It's all over because they're mentally drained. You know what they did? They went to the World Series, beat the Mets in 5 games. My point is, they were the best team. The Warriors are the best team, and that's why I'm not concerned. They will regroup. They will get it together. They will be, barring a major injury, they are the best team. The best team in the NBA normally wins the championship. I can't. You have to go back to maybe the 70s of some NBA team that wasn't the best team to be able to win a championship.
Dallas in 2011. They weren't better than the Miami Heat.
But the Miami Heat
And that Heat had the talent. They had 3 top 10 players.
Did they melt down and did they?
Yeah,
okay,
but
that
still.
Was that their first year together? And they were so I don't look at it the same way as a proven winner or a team that has already won and been there, done that.
What about 2016? Who was the best team in the league? Golden State or Cleveland?
In 2016?
Yeah.
Golden State.
Okay, but Cleveland beat them.
Golden State choked in that series.
But things happen.
No, but
mentally.
But that was a choke job. They were up 3-1. They choked.
They were lucky to get there because they were down 3-1 to OKC.
I'm still betting my money on Golden State.
You can bet your money on Golden State, but to answer the question, are the Warriors a lock? No, they're not a lock. Nothing is guaranteed. Chris, you even alluded to before you went on to your 75%, that before the season you thought they were 100%. Nothing is guaranteed in sports. I don't care what sport we're talking about. And we can transition that to life.
You want me to bust that right now?
No.
I'm going to guarantee you. Can I just give you an example? Let me give you an example. The Harlem Globetrotters win every game, and the Washington Generals
They
lose
actually have lost a few.
Exactly.
They actually have lost a few.
You're done. To my point, nothing is guaranteed. This is why we play the game. And when you look at what we heard in those 2 post-game press conferences, Steve Kerr alluding to effort, complacency, Kevin Durant, the same thing. We have to be energetic. Before, when the Warriors were having success in the regular season and obviously throughout the playoffs, teams had to match their intensity. Now they're trying to match other teams' intensity because other teams have constructed their teams to beat this team, to knock down this big franchise that everybody is saying is the greatest thing ever assembled. And I get it. Should we be barring all the alarms, sounding every alarm? No, because they have players, you mentioned, they have 3 of the top 10 players in the league on their team. 2 of the top 3 players are on their team.
And if you're going to go, they got 4 of the best 20 players in the league.
Yeah, so I mean, they have the arsenal and the weaponry to make sure that they can bounce back. But if you look at Cleveland this year, their issue was effort. They had to clean house because of effort, and they couldn't overcome it in games, late in games, because they didn't have the type of arsenal offensively to get it done. What you see in Golden State is a level of complacency. I'm not saying that they are unwilling or they won't be able to turn it on, because they're definitely capable of turning it on. But right now, what we're seeing is a team that is comfortable, that is complacent, and have this sense of entitlement, if you will, to where they don't think they have to play as hard as everybody else because they feel like they can come back. I'll tell you one stat that supports that. Turnovers. This team has always turned the ball over. They've always turned the ball over. But they've always been able to outscore their opponent, even with their turnovers. Now, in their wins, they're averaging about 15 turnovers, only giving up 17 points. In their losses, they're averaging 18 turnovers, giving up 24 points. When you turn the ball over, what that tells me is your effort isn't there. You don't really care when you turn the ball over, are we getting back in transition? Are we pressing and guarding the three-point line? You talked about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant talked about it yesterday. Trailblazers came out and knocked down 3, 4, 5 threes in the first quarter and got their momentum going. You can't allow that. That's telling me you're coming off the bus, not ready to play. And everybody, when you are the top dog, every team you play night in and night out is going to give you their best effort. They went into Utah, but got blasted.
To your point, Golden State, if let's say everybody stays healthy, not just on Golden State, but virtually everywhere, okay? They're going to have a much tougher road to the finals this year than they did in the 2 years they won it. The 2 years they won it, they had easy roads. In 2015, Memphis was hurt. The Clippers were hurt.
You can only play who's out there,
I'm just saying, most teams were banged up in the East, and it was an easier road. 2017, San Antonio. Hold on. San Antonio, we know Kawhi Leonard got hurt. Josef Nurkic from Portland was hurt. They wouldn't have beat him, but that made it easier too. The 1 year they actually had a rough road, 2016, down 3-1 to Oklahoma City, they lost. They didn't win. Now, you can say it was Draymond, and I know that changed the momentum, but they still lost those last 2 games with Draymond, one of them being at home.
I agree.
I don't think they choked. The Cavs, they gave the Cavs momentum with the suspension, and then the Cavs rolled.
They didn't lose 3 games in a row all season.
It's tougher in the finals, but you playing better
and 2
players.
of those games were at home.
You can't bring up a regular season when you meet in Denver and Utah and Toronto and
But
Charlotte.
you're right, and that's
Cleveland was a great team.
That's why I don't buy Houston, because Houston is postseason poison. Look at who they have. Harden has had nothing but meltdowns after great regular seasons. Chris Paul, meltdowns after great regular seasons. He doesn't have a resume for the postseason. And Mike D'Antoni, the coach, go look at his record when he was with the Suns.
They're going to give each other
all the time.
Chris Paul and James Harden are going to give each other confidence.
Hold on, really quick on that. They were the alpha males on their teams individually. Now they have the support of one another.
That's right.
You'll see a different Houston Rockets team in the playoffs.
You put
this year.
poison and poison together, and it's still poison.
No mercy. Hey, everybody. Joy Taylor here. Thank you for listening to the Undisputed podcast. But I wanted to tell you about another podcast at Fox Sports that we are really excited about. And that's Alexi Lalas's State of the Union podcast. That's right, U.S. soccer legend Alexi Lalas will be partnering with Fox soccer guru and researcher extraordinaire David Mossy to review the top storylines in soccer across the globe. Each week, Alexi will give his State of the Union on American soccer as it rebuilds for the future. So go subscribe right now and listen for free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Now back to the show.
No mercy. Before last night's loss, Kevin Durant called out the Warriors' critics who bashed Steve Kerr for letting some of his players handle coaching duties in Monday's blowout win. Durant said, quote, "Everybody just loves to hate on the Warriors. Whatever we do, they don't want to just say they hate us, so they're going to make up excuses on why they don't like us or why it was disrespectful. Who gives an expletive?" Yeah, you get it. Okay, all right, Greg, are the Warriors too concerned with outside criticism?
No, they're not. No, I don't think they are at all. I think when you are the best team in your respective sport, everyone is going to have something to say. You look at the New England Patriots. They have something. Everyone has something to say. And when you win, everyone tries to dissect and magnify every little thing you do. So with the Warriors and them having any success, the moment they start to have a lull, the moment they lose 4 out of the last 8 games, it's like, wow, what's going on? What's happening with them? Yep. This team is built for the playoffs. They don't care about what everybody is saying outside. The only thing that I'm concerned about is guys changing up their personalities. And Kevin Durant, ever since he came over, this is when the Warriors became the hated one. When Kevin Durant decided to join a team that was already difficult to beat. He joined that team and they became the black eye or the whatever you want to call it in the league, where everybody wants to hate this team. Everybody wants to take them out now because of Kevin Durant. You add another superstar like that. So I don't think they're worried about the outside noise. I think they hear it and they're just chirping back.
Do you still have him as the favorite overall to win it all?
I mean, it's hard not to have them as a favorite. They have too many weapons, and it's yet to be proven with what Cleveland has.
What is that fake?
Because it seemed like you were saying earlier you were like beating them up, and now you're saying they're ready for. That's why I was just wondering where you got
They
them.
have enough to overcome all of this. Rob,
all right, look,
I'm not saying they're going to win it.
Rob,
I'm not at all saying they're going to win it.
We just saying they weren't a lot. Look, I'm with you. No, let's be honest as media members. We're asking them questions. They're not just coming out of the blue saying, man, yo, did you hear about people jumping on, Steve Kerr for what he did? We are asking them questions and they're just responding. I'd rather them do that than say no comment. To your point, though, Kevin Durant seems like a different guy in Golden State. I mean, I mentioned the ejections earlier. I don't know when the last time I saw him give a quote where he wasn't cursing. I don't remember seeing all that in Oklahoma for 9 years. He's criticized role players, the ones in Oklahoma City on Twitter. Clint Capella, don't open your mouth. Don't say y'all can challenge us because you just a role player. Like, where is this coming from? I think Durant has embraced the villain role. He didn't announce it like LeBron did when he went to Miami. LeBron announced it, I'm the villain now, with the Nike commercial and all that. But Durant seems to have embraced it, the sneakers with all the criticism on the soles and stuff like that. Now, it worked for him last year. But if that's really not who you are, and maybe that's Kevin Durant. Maybe for 9 years, he kept all that hidden. I doubt it, but maybe, all right? But if that's not really you, then I think it's going to come back to bite you. It came back to bite LeBron eventually against Dallas in the finals. He had to go back to being who he really is and won championships. Kevin Durant, I'm a little concerned. I'm like, just things like that, if you're acting outside of yourself, that can eventually hurt you or your team. So that's a small concern. I'm still have them favored, but that's a concern.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about that. I just think it's lame. That's what it is. Kevin Durant, what world is he living in?
For him to defend Kerr?
No, the idea that everybody hates the Warriors, like this is what sports has always been, okay? People hate Duke. They hate the Yankees. They hate the Patriots. They used to hate Notre Dame when Notre Dame used to win.
Yep.
That's when you win a lot, that's really what it is. And yes, Kevin Durant going to a team that had already won a championship, people don't like that. I get it. So you just have to embrace it. And I don't think it's a bad thing. It's good. All the great players I've ever heard have always talked about when they boo you, you go to another place. That's a sign of respect, right?
Absolutely.
When they don't care about you, Greg, what does it tell you?
They're not talking about you. They're not booing you. You don't hear anything out in the media.
You don't matter.
You don't matter.
You don't matter. You only worry about people who matter. Nobody spends time talking about a guy who doesn't matter.
You think they're just hated, though, because they win? I mean, I don't think the Jordan Bulls were hated. I really don't.
I do.
I mean, in Detroit, you from Detroit, of course.
No, but
around
Jordan
the
Bulls
world.
were hated.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think the Showtime Lakers were hated outside of Boston. I'm not saying obviously you had people that weren't fans, but those teams, I don't think those two teams were hated.
No.
And it's not, I don't even think it's so much about being hated. I think it's more, people get tired of seeing the same team win and win and
Welcome
win.
to the NBA.
Over
Hold
and
on,
over
they've
and
won
over
2
again.
in 3 years.
I get it,
But
but
they've
they've
been 3 years, and no two teams have ever been to the NBA Finals 3 years in a row, and we're looking at maybe 4. This has never happened in the history of the league. So
Exactly.
This is new ground.
But in the East, nobody wants to see anybody come out of the East other than Cleveland.
Why? People in Toronto?
Because they want to see a competitive
Those cities-
NBA Finals. That's the only reason.
Look, you hit it on the head. Durant going there, just like LeBron going to Miami made them hate it. But also, they weren't this hated, but there was some pushback on the Warriors even before Durant. I mean, people thought Steph was cocky with the shimmy. He's throwing mouthpieces. People said, oh, he's not the sweet little innocent guy we thought he was. So there were other, Draymond obviously can get on people's nerves. So
He's
this has
always been like
ratcheted
that.
it up with Durant.
There's no doubt about
The
it.
reason why I don't have an issue with it is because if you continue to win, you grow confident in your own ability as well. I mean, if you're losing, then it's like you're starting to question yourself. The same can be said when you start to win. You gain confidence.
But that's why I say they should embrace it.
Right.
Just embrace.
Right,
We're the top dog right now.
And I think
everybody wants to knock the top dog down.
And I think it helps them because with their lack of effort sometimes and their complacency, they need something like this to go into games with and say, look, this is what we can hang our hat on. This team right here has been talking this or saying this or these guys say this. Let's at least use that. That's bulletin board material. It may be minimal, but it's something to keep them engaged.
No mercy.
A recent report by ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski offered a glimpse inside the Cavs front office leading up to the trade deadline. The report said GM Kobe Altman met with LeBron to discuss his unhappiness with the team and how to get LeBron re-engaged on the court. Now, LeBron reportedly usually had his agent handle any roster discussions with the Cavs, but Altman consulted with LeBron directly before finalizing deals that sent 4 new players to Cleveland and also received his blessing to send Dwayne Wade to Miami. The Cavs have won 4 straight overall in back-to-back games with their new roster. Rob, who deserves more credit for the Cavs' turnaround? Is it Altman or LeBron now?
This is a no-brainer. It's LeBron James. And we could talk about pieces, parts, and getting different players, and that all looks good, window dressing, new toys. But the bottom line is, it's about LeBron's play. Let me give you some numbers. Are you ready, Chris? Write these down.
I
This
know
might help you
plus
later
minus
on.
is no doubt.
Well, you know that's
no
in
doubt
there, too.
coming first.
It's a new segment
But
on
in
the
the
show.
previous 19 games, the team was 6-13. LeBron was averaging about 22 points, shooting 23% from 3, and he had a negative 7.7 plus minus. Are you ready for the last
Worst
4
in the
games?
league, right? At that point.
Last 4 games, 4-0. He's averaging 30 points. He's shooting 46% from 3, and he has an 8.3 plus in the plus minus. So when people talk about, LeBron's energized LeBron's playing better, Greg, than he was. And no matter what you say, yes, for LeBron, for anybody else, the numbers would be good, but for LeBron, they were bad. LeBron was lethargic, was like not into it, wasn't feeling the team. I get it. So when you're the best player, what happens, Chris? The team follows your lead, the tone that you set. So those other guys were like, LeBron don't care. He ain't playing defense. He ain't knocking down no shots. So they kind of like fall into a lull or a trance with LeBron.
I'm with you, but when you talk about the other guys follow your lead, we're talking about Dwayne Wade and Derrick Rose and Isaiah Thomas and Jake. These aren't young guys.
LeBron was playing like trash for LeBron. And I'm just telling you, it set the tone, and that's why that team was as bad as it was.
You're right that LeBron wasn't playing up to his standards, and that he was sulking, whether he was doing it purposely to send a message to the front office like, hey, do something, or you got no shot of keeping me long term, or was he just totally dispirited subconsciously and didn't have his game? Whatever the case, the guy that deserves credit for this turnaround is Kobe Altman. The thing that got LeBron back to being LeBron was the new players they brought in. The fact that LeBron looked around the locker room and said, I can win with these guys. These guys are young enough, they're athletic enough to guard on the perimeter. I got some shooters in the backcourt. A point guard, George Hill, who can stay in front of the opposing point guard.
The greatest player on earth needs other people to motivate him.
Everybody needs other
motivate
players
him to play.
No, I don't think that would have continued. I think after the trade deadline, LeBron would have woke up and said, all right, I got to do the best with what we have.
Honest take.
But still, see, we differ because you don't think they're any different than they were 2 weeks ago.
I'm not saying that they're not different.
I think they are much different. I think they are much better.
Different and better is different.
Okay.
Would you say that?
I think they're different and better.
Okay.
You don't think they're better.
I think they're different but not better.
Okay. I think they're much better.
Greg, what do you think?
I have to give Kobe Altman all the credit. LeBron's not on the phone calling GMs, hey, is so-and-so available? Is so-and-so available? That was all Kobe Altman. You can't take that away from him.
No, I don't think you can take that away from him. But LeBron did. LeBron deserves the credit here, Chris.
For what?
I mean, listen to the reports. He sat down with LeBron. Kobe Altman sat down with LeBron. And why? Matter of fact, before I even get into that, you know who else deserves some of this credit?
Who?
Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, for not doing their part, for not playing.
That's a good point.
They deserve some of this credit too, because had they not shown this early that it wasn't going to work, they may be stuck with each other. And so when I look at LeBron, everything about LeBron, he's had his hand, everything about the Cavs, LeBron has had his hand in. So now all of a sudden, you're saying Kobe Altman just made this decision?
He
pulled the trigger.
Did you see how complicated those trades were?
I understand
no way a
that.
player comes
He's
up with
handling
that
the details of it, of course. But LeBron is suggesting what he needs with him to give him an idea. Chris, when you think about this, who's to say that LeBron isn't setting this up for his future? Not just for this season. We're looking at this season. They could have sat down and had a discussion like, look, if I am to stay, these are some of the pieces that I would need.
Greg, any basketball person could tell what the Cavaliers needed to do. They needed to get better defensive players. They needed to get younger. They needed to get some shooting. That doesn't take LeBron to come into the office and tell you, hey, Kobe, we need shooting, we need youth, we need athleticism. That was obvious. You can't take this away from Kobe Altman. LeBron wanted them to trade the Brooklyn pick. They didn't do that. That's what he wanted. If he would have been able to make all the calls and all the decisions, he would have said, let's shop that pick and see if we can get another star.
And this is the other problem I have with giving LeBron too much credit for I'm talking about his ability and his playing. You're saying about being involved in the front office. The team that they had going in, LeBron had something to do with that. And that was LeBron putting that team together. So when I look at it, every time I hear people say, LeBron doesn't have anything, who's the one who got Tristan Thompson signed in a contract? LeBron James. J.R. Smith.
LeBron James. Kyle Culver.
Right.
LeBron James.
How about Dwayne Wade? A lot of people said, Dwayne Wade? That's his guy. He brought Dwayne Wade there. Did it work? Most people said it wasn't going to work, right? Even when he got there. That was LeBron. So I can't look and say, now LeBron is the GM and the smartest guy on the planet because he could play and pick the team?
When you look across the league and you look across to the West Coast and you see what Golden State is, you will be willing to try anything. Let me try to get somebody who's won, who I've had success with, in here and see if we can revive what we once had. And it just didn't work. I get that. But to say he didn't have any say, no.
I'm not saying he had nothing to do. I'm just saying the lion's share of the credit has to go to Kobe. If Kobe sat there with LeBron and said, okay, we can get Rodney Hood, Jordan Clarkson, so on and so forth, and LeBron was like, that looks good, you gonna give LeBron all the credit?
No, but you're saying, I get what you're saying, but it all stems from LeBron. So it starts
from his sulking?
From whatever you want to call it.
So
You
we
can
gonna give him credit for that?
You can say sulking. You can say whatever. You can call it whatever you want to call it.
Huh?
But you ripping LeBron?
No, I'm saying you cannot look.
I know you and Kobe Altman go back.
No, we don't. I'm just saying you can't take away. When is the last time we saw a team make 3 trades on deadline day? And all 3 trades answered an issue. The locker room problems, the conflicting agendas, the fact that you couldn't play defense. He answered all of that. He looked at his mistake in the offseason for bringing in the team he did and answered it. 15 games, a lot of GMs after 15 games would not have admitted a mistake. They would have let Isaiah ride it out. They would have said he's still hurt, the hip is a problem, and let it go in part because it makes you look bad that you trade a guy after 15 games of play. He just did an about face. I'm not saying the dude is Jerry West. I'm just saying to give LeBron all the credit for this I just think it's patently unfair.
I get you. I'm not saying give LeBron all the credit, but I'll use your percentages. I give LeBron about 78% of the credit.
That's the lion's share, man. Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, look, on the court, it's going to be LeBron. There's no doubt. And the other role players do their part, great. But this, man, there's no way a player comes up with these types of moves. It just don't happen.
No mercy.
Last night, things got chippy between Isaiah Thomas and Rajon Rondo in the first quarter. The Lakers lost to the Pelicans. Both players received double technicals and were ejected from the game. And Rondo, who won a title with the Celtics, called out IT earlier this season, saying he didn't deserve a video tribute in Boston. So things were already a little chippy. Then after the game, Isaiah didn't exactly hold himself accountable for his ejection. Check it out.
For whatever reason, he's an upset guy about me. I don't know what it is, but it's fine. Like, I can't control that. He kept bringing the tribute up when I was the one that shut the tribute down. So, I mean, I'm far past that. I'm on the Lakers trying to figure out how to help this team win. And for the things that happened today and me to get ejected is uncalled for. My team beat his team in the playoffs last year. Maybe that is what's wrong. I don't know. There's nothing nothing should have made that escalate like it did, but he already had his agenda written down right when I checked in the game. It was obvious. Pick me up full court, trying to be physical. It was obvious.
His agenda written down. All right, number one, why are we still talking about this video tribute? Who cares? And 2, Chris, does IT deserve blame for getting ejected?
Well, first of all, I wish I knew what Rondo was saying. Like how you keep bringing up the tribute. What's up with that tribute, man? Right, that should have been Paul's day, man. What you doing? What you doing?
You got some nerve.
I really would like to hear what he was actually saying to him.
But he's trying to get under his skin. You know that.
Right, but how? Yeah.
And look, Isaiah, we know he can be blamed for a lot this year. He is absolutely right, though, last night. He should not have gotten ejected. He should not have gotten a technical. This was all Rondo. Rondo basically hit him 2 or 3 times in the face. I don't know if it was 2 or 3. He hit him. He didn't all-out punch him, but he clearly was trying to disguise stuff like this. He did it at least twice. Isaiah didn't retaliate. Isaiah's kind of smiling, laughing. He says to the ref, what the heck is going on? He did not deserve a T. He did not deserve an ejection. I'm with Isaiah on this. We'll get to a lot of his other things. But yesterday, he should have been able to play in that game.
I'm with you. I'm with you on this. It was definitely a Rajon Rondo, almost like he premeditated this going into this game, that I'm going to mess with this guy because I did something special in Boston, and they weren't gonna give me any tribute.
Yeah. Will he get his jersey retired?
I don't know if they're gonna lift my number in the rafters. I mean,
probably not.
I don't
Probably
know.
not.
They may, you think they lift everybody's number.
Oh, yeah,
in
that's
rap.
true. Nowadays.
Well,
that's
not
what it is.
numbers. they'll give
But
him a video.
last night, what you saw was somebody getting in an altercation, somebody being Rajon Rondo. This is who he is. He's a confrontational guy. Getting into it with another confrontational guy, and so my only issue that I have with this is IT after the game. He said, I don't know why he's upset. I don't know. Man, you talk. You talk.
Yeah.
You
He probably was saying
you
stuff on the
wolf
court,
too. Like even if you watched, even in his time in Cleveland when he wasn't dressed, he's on the sideline standing up, yelling at players, cussing them out. Like this is who Isaiah Thomas is. So now all of a sudden, don't act like you just look. I didn't do anything.
That's my thing. Yes.
I just came to play basketball. This is like this past season when Oakland played Denver and Michael Crabtree and Akeem Talib got into it. It was premeditated.
Right.
They knew what they were getting into.
But I also think that now, because Isaiah is wounded in the eyes of other players, like from where he was, his perch last year to this year. I'm with you. I don't blame Isaiah, but I think now they're like, there's blood in the water. Do you know what I mean?
You think people are looking at players are looking at him like we're gonna go at you?
Like we're gonna go at you. You're not the same guy.
Were you about to say like a loser?
No, I didn't say that. No. I'm just saying that's what I get. And Rondo did it. He even mentioned it, Isaiah, picking him up full court, pressuring him. That's what Patrick Beverly did in Lonzo Ball's first game. That's what you do. You don't do that to a vet in this league in a game in February. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's you really like going at somebody like, I'm gonna mess with you today. I'm gonna do that. And that's what I think Isaiah is. He's not that guy who's gonna get that big payday, who was fifth in MVP voting last year. You've been traded twice in 7 months, right? He's not that guy, and they want to show him he's not that guy.
Well, I think, first of all, too, Rondo probably has some resentment about the playoffs last year. Remember, when they were up 2-0,
right,
then he gets hurt. They probably would have won that series, Chicago beating Boston, if he doesn't go down.
Didn't they win the first 2 games
They won the
Boston?
first 2 games. Yeah.
Right?
It was in Boston.
Yeah.
So, and then, of course, Isaiah becomes the hero of the playoffs up until the conference finals after that. So maybe that has something to do with it. Look, we've seen guys fall a long way. I mean, we were just talking about one, Derrick Rose, Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, even Amari Stoudemire to some degree because of injury.
Right.
This is related to injury with the hip, but there's more to it. You mentioned the disrespect. Those guys weren't disrespected this way. And that does lead you to believe, was he rubbing guys the wrong way even when he was playing at his best? And now that he's injured, he's without a wing, he's hurt, he's not playing well, he's down, he's probably not going to get this huge payday.
And let me say
he's been traded and traded again.
But not only traded, he was dumped by LeBron. Do you know what I mean? Like your status,
no question.
You were dumped. What? Like LeBron's like, oh no, let's hold on to him, let that hip get right. He can be the guy and help us. No, LeBron's like, I'm done. Yeah. Let's get him out of here. Mm-hmm. And I think people look at that, and that's where the wound is, and he has to be able to overcome that. So he's got a lot of work to do before the end of the season.
Look, he has a lot of built-in, like, anxiety and just hurt. I don't know what you would even call it because of
a chip on his shoulder.
With the chip on his shoulder from just being the little man. Even we saw the commercials. We saw him do a little bit of a documentary about it a little bit, talking about his upbringing and always being the smallest guy on the court. That bothers him. That he always has something to prove. So now him being hurt, as you alluded to, that gives him something else to prove because now everybody's like, it's over. It's over for him. Yeah. So now all of a sudden, on top of the fact that I'm 5'9", with gym shoes on.
With platforms.
Exactly. And now I hurt my hip, and everybody's saying I will not return to being the player that I once was. He's out to prove that. That's why LeBron had to dump him, because it was more about him than about winning championships. And LeBron isn't about, He's about winning championships.
And look, to be fair, that attitude, that chip on the shoulder, that arrogance and cockiness, that has served him well. To be 5'8",
Sure.
5'9", and excel in this game, even to make it to the NBA.
100%.
Or even to play
And
big time
average,
Division
average,
I.
what do you average, 29?
29 last
29 in the
year.
NBA
Nate
at that
Robinson
size.
had
Right.
the same attitude, from the same part of the country, too. He wasn't as good as Isaiah, but, that has been good for him. I just don't know with that injury at 29 years old, even he's gonna look at all this and use it for fuel. But with the injury, the age, I don't know that he'll be able to. And even if he is able to at some point get back to what he was, the sad thing is he's going to miss out probably on the big payday. Even if he'll get another contract, but by the time he becomes what he used to be, if he gets there, he'll already be in a new contract that probably isn't paying him what he's worth.
Yeah,
So-
I don't see a max deal. It would
No,
have to
no,
be
no.
something that
It-
would be.
no way
But he was
it's a
right on the
max.
cusp of.
I don't think he was.
Oh, but you know what I mean? Of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
being that kind of
he was
salary.
going to get over 20
Right.
a year easily.
So if you are in his circle and you're advising Isaiah Thomas moving forward after this season, are you telling him, Isaiah, look, shut your mouth,
Not after this season. You mean like
Now.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Yeah, but my point is, would you be telling him, or would you say, look, you're not the player that you once was? Would you be willing to tell him that?
Most people can't handle that.
Exactly.
But is that it? Do you think he's not the player he once
I don't
was?
think he's. I mean, look, he doesn't have the.
He's not in the same role. Well, true.
He
but
doesn't have the. That
he
was a lot
probably-
of his game.
He probably knows that, and he's chalking it up to the injury, which is probably why it is the case. But as I've said before, he was not a perennial 28-point scorer. He was not a perennial all-NBA talent like last year. He was just in a great role, a great system that was the perfect storm for him.
Which allowed him to flourish
Exactly.
better than ever before.
He wasn't going to do that consistently, not outside of Boston.
Is he still a starter in this league?
Yeah, for some teams, certainly. He's certainly in a top
The
half
reason-
of
the
point
reason why I
guards,
asked
but I
that
think
is
he
be-
might just be better as a
The reason why I
six-man
asked
energy
it
guy.
is because if I'm advising Isaiah Thomas, you have to be real. Isaiah, you're 5'9". You're a liability defensively. Teams are looking at you saying, I can't win with him at the forefront of my franchise. So you have to be willing to look at that, survey yourself, self-assess, and say, look, maybe I might be better suited swallowing my pride and coming off the bench.
Well, and being a really good bench player. to come
Absolutely.
up and put up shots and points. A lot of guys, they balk at that, but that's sometimes finding the right role.
Yeah,
and I
and that
agree.
will extend his career.
Right, that'll extend your career. You'll play a long time if you only give me 18 minutes off the bench and score 15 points or 12 points.
Well, it might need a guy like Jamal Crawford, who's kind of the godfather of that Seattle area basketball players, who's made a great career coming off the bench, even though he's got starter's ability. And even you point out, look at Kevin McHale. Look at some of these great sixth men. But whether Isaiah buys into it or not, the one thing he definitely needs to do is stop chirping and stop, making these comments.
I'm not
That's
sure
not
he
gonna
can do
happen.
it.
Nope.
I just think that's who he is. He's cut a certain way. It started from being the smallest guy and having to do all that. So I think it's already in him. It would be nearly impossible for him to just go, okay, I'm not talking anymore.
Well, the interesting thing after all these things that have gone wrong for him recently, here comes LeVar.
I know. I was going to
I
say
was just going to
I
say,
mean,
the one thing he needs to do is get in LeVar's face, because I just want to see it.
Well, a lot of people would like to see it, and some people would actually like that. If LeVar threw a shot at him, and I don't know that he will, he'll throw a shot at something.
But he might.
At some point.
If he takes playing time
Lonzo's
away from
minutes.
Lonzo, right, and he starts
100%.
playing LeVar, I guarantee you.
That would make Isaiah a little cult hero if he went back at
Right.
LeVar, because nobody's done it.
No.
Not one person's done it. LeBron did.
You said it the other day. That's who it's going to be.
Absolutely. I still believe so. To your point, he's not going to be able to shut his
No.
mouth. That's just not who he is. especially with LeVar's waiting in the wing.
Do they both want to come on the program and maybe like go back and forth here? They can sit right there.
That would be
Rob
great.
will move.
I'll leave.
We'll get the love seat.
That would be fantastic. Open invitation.
Yeah, absolutely.
No mercy.
Well, the Celtics are struggling big time. Boston got 33 points from Kyrie Irving in last night's loss at home to the Clippers, but on the defensive side, they gave up 129 points. Wow, the most they've given up all season. The Celtics have lost 4 out of their last 5 games and 9 of their last 15. Not so good. They now trail the Raptors by 2 games in the East. So, Chris, are you surprised the Celtics have struggled like this?
Well, look, being fair, we have to talk about Marcus Smart being out with injury. He's missed the last 11 games, and he appears to be the one guy they can't do without. Their record is better without Kyrie Irving, without Al Horford, who are their 2 All-Stars, than it is without Marcus Smart because he's so important to their defense. It's no coincidence that the last 2 games without Smart, they gave up a season-high 121 to the Cavs and a season-high 129 last night to the Clippers. So we have to put that out there first. All that said, I never bought into the notion of the Celtics being a great team, a championship contending team. They're a very good team. They're a solid team. They're a little better than they were last year. But they're not in the league of the Clevelands, the Houstons, the Golden States. They're just not. I think Toronto is even better than them. And so what I'm seeing now, they lost 4 or 5. Obviously, they're not that bad. But they're closer to the team that has been 18 and 15 over the last 2 months than they are to that team that started 22 and 4. A big part of their problem is they are counting on 2 of their best 4 players are young. And it's great for them in the future. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, I love them. I think both could be stars. But right now, Tatum as a rookie, 19 years old, whatever he is, 20 years old, and Jaylen Brown just in his second year, his first year of really playing big minutes, Tatum's hit a wall. First 2 months, he was one of the best three-point shooters in the league. Now he's 33% over the last month and a half. It happens to rookies, especially a rookie playing on a team that's trying to win a conference title. So I get it.
And hadn't played that many games in college, you know what I mean, compared to when you got the grind.
That's
of an
essentially
NBA.
when he went down after the college season ended, the
Absolutely.
35 games or whatever it is. So, look, they're a pretty good team. They got work to do. Look at all the elites. Golden State's got 4 stars. Cleveland's got 2, one of them being the best player in the world. Houston's got 2 future Hall of Famers. I mean, the elite teams have a number of stars. Boston's got 1. That's it. 1, and they're doing a good job for what they are, but they're not a contender. This is who they are.
I agree with you that they have taken a little slide back.
A little.
Yes, but I'm not surprised that they're struggling right now. But I'm not sounding the alarm on the Boston Celtics. I actually think that they've outperformed what everybody's expectations were at the beginning of the season and even now. Yes, they're going through a lull, but it's clearly because of their fatigue. You mentioned it, the young guys hitting a wall. It's real. You get tired when you haven't played this amount of games in college and you get to the pros and you're playing every other night, back-to-back games. It wears on you. You traveling from East Coast to West Coast, that all builds up and that adds to what you're going to produce night in and night out. But I like the makeup of this team. I like the fact that they don't have a bunch of superstars. You have Kyrie Irving.
Just give us 2.
You don't know. Why? When you have a great head coach, what 2 superstars did they have last year?
And they weren't a contender last year.
One superstar did they have last year?
Lost in the first round.
I understand that.
So what are you holding them to? What standard?
No, what I'm saying is sometimes you don't always have to have what everybody thinks you have to have. You can win with pieces that get along off the court and that make sure that they gel on the court. And because of the effectiveness of Brad Stevens, his ability to coach these young guys and to elevate their level of play.
Win what?
Hold on, wait a minute.
50 games? Okay.
Yes.
What about the playoffs? People are thinking they can win the East.
They definitely still have to win in the playoffs, but you got Gordon Hayward who who we haven't even seen him with this team yet.
But Greg,
so you're
but
saying
Greg,
they don't have you're saying they don't have two stars. Gordon Hayward is all of a sudden he's not a star
I'm
now.
talking about this team that's on the court right now, and I'm also talking about contending for the conference championship. Are you saying they can win 50 games? They can win 55 games. They can be the number one seed.
In that bad East,
can
of
they
course
win the
they can
East?
win
No.
50 games.
You can blame it on the bad East, and there's no competition all you want. They will be there at the end of the season. They will be one of the teams.
Where?
Be in the playoffs.
In the second round?
They will be in the playoffs, and they will fight for...
Half the league makes the playoffs.
I mean, I'm
Greg.
sold
They
on
gonna mess with Cleveland. They gonna mess with Cleveland.
No, not now. Not now, but before the trades, absolutely.
Because the Cavs were a mess.
Exactly.
That's why,
But my
the
point...
Cavs were a mess. Not because they were so great, Boston.
But Boston
I'm not
played
saying-
way over its head to start the season. And you know, you lose Hayward in the first quarter of the first game. He was
Why can't they just be a good team
because
that's struggling right now?
But that's not how it is in the NBA. No matter what Brad Stevens, you could say he's the best tactician and come up with everything. In this league, it's about the players. The NBA is what? A players' league. I'm sorry. You give Phil Jackson the New Jersey Nets of old and give him that team. Phil Jackson ain't winning no championship. I don't care what plays he draws up or what he does. So you can say it's all about Brad. No, it's not. They don't have enough. They are who we thought they were, coming, especially after they lost Hayward. They were never, Greg, going to win the East. That doesn't mean that they can't be a decent team, win 50 games, make it to the playoffs, push back a little bit, but they were never going to win. That's not. And Kyrie's done an unbelievable job to go on your own, leave LeBron, put the burden on himself, and he's played through it. Look, I give him credit for that.
Hold on. This is a team, and I'm not predicting this because they are one of the better teams in the East. I wouldn't be shocked if a Milwaukee took them out in the playoffs. They could be upset by one of these lower-rung Eastern Conference playoff teams. You don't think that's possible?
No, I think it's possible because I mean, in the first segment today, anything is possible.
Nothing is guaranteed. Anything can
happen.
happen, but do you think it's a likelihood or a good chance that a Milwaukee or somebody like that could beat Boston?
I mean, I think it's possible, but I don't think it's. I would give you your percentages again. I'm like 89% sure Boston would get out of that.
Let me throw this out here, because look, from a personal standpoint, we know Kyrie wasn't happy playing in Cleveland with LeBron. He wasn't happy with standing in the corner waiting for LeBron to pass him the ball so he could shoot. So from a personal standpoint and all that, this has clearly worked out for Kyrie, and he is in the MVP conversation. He won't win it, but he might get some votes.
He's played well.
Yeah, but there's no question in my mind, at least, if we're talking about the chance to win championships, if we're talking about being able to showcase yourself on the big stage of the NBA Finals, of the conference finals, you don't think he would have been better off staying in Cleveland?
No. I love what he did.
Taking out just the personal
to answer
happiness, because that's the most
you
important.
said if it's about championships,
yeah,
he would have been better suited to stay in Cleveland.
No, but I think Kyrie's change of heart with the whole thing is that why not? He's so anti-AAU, which is the ganging up and getting all these guys to try to win. You just talked about winning a different way. Mm-hmm. I think I always looked at Kobe that way. Kobe won 3 championships with Shaq. Shaq was the best player on the team. And I think Kobe even realized I'll never get my real due unless I'm that guy, and putting yourself. So while right now you might look and say he's not going to get to the championship and he would have had a better road with the Cavs, that doesn't mean that 2 or 3 years from now he can't build his own thing and want to be on that stage and try to win, but he's leading the way. That's why I love what Kyrie did. I understand it. He doesn't want to be in LeBron's shadow. He doesn't want to be little brother. He doesn't want to be dumped on because LeBron James is in a bad mood all the time. So I respect the guy who's willing to walk on his own and be the guy who has to stand up front.
I respect it.
I do.
I respect it, but to your question, would he be better suited to win championships in Cleveland or where he is now? It's Cleveland, obviously, playing alongside LeBron James. Come on, Rob.
But wait a minute.
But I don't think that's what Kyrie is all about. I honestly don't.
Who won Kyrie?
But other players get killed If Russell Westbrook, if somebody sits here and say Russell Westbrook ain't about trying to win championships, he's just about having fun and about getting triple doubles, he's gonna get killed.
The difference between Westbrook and Kyrie, what's the difference? Kyrie has a championship.
Exactly. LeBron, okay, won.
No, but he has one.
Okay, so now you don't play for him?
No,
He's
that's not what I'm
young.
saying.
It's not that he's not playing for one,
but there's no pressure like.
In his mind, it's like, okay, I have one. So I've reached the pinnacle. So now I can do what I want to do.
And he wasn't just there for the ride.
No,
he made the big shot. He played great, right?
Absolutely.
So he won a championship. Now, if he goes out, he walked away from LeBron, right? And he wins a championship in Boston. Where is his legacy?
You think they're gonna win a championship?
I'm just saying.
I don't think this is a core of a championship
4 years from
team.
now, I'm talking about maybe 4 years from now. Say he wins a championship. How would you look at Kyrie Irving?
It would look great. It would look great.
He would be elevated.
And again, I don't begrudge Kyrie at all for what he did because it's worked out terrifically for him. And Cleveland wouldn't have been a favorite anyway. If they would have just kept the same team, they weren't winning a championship. They were getting to the finals. But if you would have kept,
you're going to get the same result.
Well, if you would have kept the big three, Love and LeBron and Kyrie, and added a few of these guys or something like them that you just added, would you have the athleticism to defend the Golden State? Then I think they may have been able to win a championship. So that's all I'm just throwing it out there as a discussion.
Said to himself, I don't know. LeBron's been to 8. He's lost 5. He's the finals failure of all time. So maybe he's just decided that.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Kill LeBron James.
I'm not killing LeBron.
If LeBron goes to the Lakers next year by himself, Paul George stays in Oklahoma, LeBron just wants to be in LA, wants to have fun. He's got 3 rings. Would you say, hey, he doesn't need any more. He's comfortable. He doesn't need to play for rings. Or would you kill him? He's not a winner. He doesn't want to compete. He just wants to lay in the sunshine.
It would be different. The narrative would be different the narrative it would be different because we know what LeBron is chasing. We know what he's chasing.
So what's Kyrie chasing?
I'm not saying he's not chasing championships, but he hasn't let it be known, I'm going to Boston because I want to win. I want to win championships. No, LeBron would be going somewhere because he wants to win.
And LeBron ain't going nowhere by himself.
No.
So that would not, you know that. Ain't no way, no how is he going to L.A. by himself to sit in the sun.
If
you
you don't
can't
want
take
to
down
win,
Golden State by yourself.
Hey.
No, that's what I'm saying. He might just peace for himself, for the inner peace, the happiness, and all that.
Stop.
All right, see, double standard. Usually it's a double standard up in this piece.
But this piece.
He can have more Zen moments now that he has a team that's constructed the right way around him.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back again tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.